So let's just get started with what the slide is that's in front of you. I'm Leslie Kroger from Cohen-Milstein and proud to be part of the Flint team. And if you've gotten emails or have emailed the Flint Water, you may have heard from me. I'm the Leslie that's been responding to the emails. It's important that you know, many of you may have already retained another attorney that is not part of the group that you see here. That's interim co-lead class counsel and interim class counsel team. If you don't see the firm that you've retained, it would be best that you exit now, because this is, we don't want to interfere with anyone else's relationship with their attorney. This is for people who have signed retainers with us and for class members who are not represented, or for members of the community who have not retained an attorney. So that's why that's the first thing that we're telling you. If you already have an attorney who is not listed here or working with a law firm that's not listed here, then we ask that you contact them to answer your questions on the settlement.
Thanks, Leslie. And good evening, everybody. My name again is Ted Leopold. I, along with Mike Pitt, have been appointed by Judge Levy as co-lead counsel for the class. And we welcome you all here tonight to talk about the status of the Flint litigation and also where we are at in terms of registration and moving forward on several issues. First, you'll be able to speak to and hear and see all of the various panelists. As part of the panelists and as interim class counsel, several of them are on this particular call tonight, or Zoom call, including Trishelle and Teresa, Cynthia, and some others. We'll get to that in a few moments. I do want to let you know that this is being recorded, and we will have this for future reference. Should anybody need any additional information, you could always call our website. Our contact call number is on there. All of us are available to talk to you at any time. And also in this evening's conversation, should you have any particular questions, you can note them in the question and answer box. And at the conclusion of this presentation, we will be able to try and answer as many questions we can within a reasonable amount of time. Again, if you have additional questions that we don't get to, or some of you think of questions tonight after this evening's conversation, which oftentimes happens, feel free to reach out to us tomorrow by email, going to the website, asking questions, or calling us directly. Again, tonight we're going to have a good session talking about the status, not only the litigation, but most importantly, the registration process, which just went online over the last 24 hours or so. Before I hand it over to Mike to get us started, I do want to let everybody know what the present status of the litigation is. In addition to having a resolution and a settlement with a couple of the pending defendants, including the state of Michigan, the city of Flint, and individual representatives, part of the state, as well as McLaren Hospital and the defendant Rowe, we do want to remind you that there are presently active 2 additional defendants in the litigation. And those 2 defendants that are still active in litigation are LAN and VNA. And we are working as hard as we can for you to litigate and prosecute those cases. We presently have class papers in order to seek class certification that is pending before Judge Levy. We're in the process now of very active litigation by taking depositions of their experts. Those defendants will also be responding to the class certifications papers, and at some point in time in the nearer future, Judge Levy will rule upon those issues. And other than that, we are working constantly with the administrator for the settlement. We talk daily amongst ourselves and doing all we can to make things easier. And with that, let me hand it over to Mike, because there are a lot of things that are happening, including reopening because of COVID, but we're happy to be opening the Flint office and a lot of other issues that we're going to go over in this PowerPoint presentation. So with that, Mike, you want to get us started?
Beth, can we see the next slide, please? So I think Cynthia or Teresa or Tercel, were you going to comment on this slide?
I believe, Michael, this is Trishelle. I was going to cover the next steps.
Yeah.
And so I can go ahead and do that.
Go
So
ahead.
hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm proud member of the Flint Water Justice Class Action Team. And our job is tonight to educate you because there's a lot of misinformation that is circulating in our community. And so we want to give you facts and we want to help you understand what the next steps are so you can make an informed decision in partaking in this settlement, this historic settlement. So the next steps are registration began yesterday. It began January 27th and it ends on March 29th. So that is a very important deadline that everyone must be aware of. Registration for partaking in this settlement ends on March 29th of this year. For adults that want to opt out of this settlement, they do not want to partake in any aspect of this settlement, your deadline to opt out is March 29th, and you need to take an affirmative step to opt out. If you choose to object to the settlement, your objection must be filed by March 29th. Also, make sure you understand you cannot opt out of the settlement and file an objection to the settlement. The only way you can file an objection to this settlement is if you are part of the settlement. Judge Levy will be conducting a fairness hearing, and that hearing will take place on July 12th of this year. Again, a fairness hearing will take place on July 12th, and the claims period, which is what you will submit after you register for partaking in the settlement, the claims period ends on August 26th. On August 26th, that is the closing door for you to submit a claim. And so we will go forward and let you know what you need to do to register as well as to submit a claim to partake in this settlement. Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Michael Pitt here, one of the co-leads along with Ted Leopold. And I want to go over with you how important it is for you to make decisions for you and your family by March 29. And if you decide you're going to register, which means you're going to participate in the class action settlement or on behalf of children, you must submit a registration form by March 29th. And how do you do that? The court has appointed Archer, which is a national claims administration company, neutral and impartial, and they have their own website, and the website is officialflintwatersettlement.com. That'll be on our website, flintwaterjustice.com. And that is a portal for you to either print out the registration form or to fill out the registration form using your computer or your handheld device. Your telephone will enable you to do that. It's very important that registration form be received by Archer, not our office, but Archer, no later than March 29th. For those of you who want to use paper and fill out the registration form using paper and you want to mail it, it has to have a postmark of March 29th to be timely. If you file your registration papers late, you will lose all rights. It is very important that you pay attention to the March 29th date and make sure that the registration form is filled out properly and on time. Now, for adults, you have three options. that have to be exercised by March 29. You can register, you can opt out, and opt out means that you wish to be excluded from the settlement involving the state of Michigan, the city of Flint, McLaren Hospital, and Rowe Engineering. It does not have anything to do with the pending case against the two private engineering companies or the EPA. But if you do wish to exclude yourself from the settlement involving those defendants, again, the state of Michigan, city of Flint, McLaren Hospital, or Rowe Engineering, you must submit a timely opt-out form no later than March 29th. If you fail to do that, then you will be considered part of the class and all of your rights will be automatically determined. The other option you have is to do nothing. So let me start with the registration form. So the registration form is your election. You're making an election to participate in the class action settlement involving these defendants. As Trishelle has said, you cannot do both. You cannot file a registration form and opt out. You must make an election by March 29th. And once you make that election, you're bound by it. You're not going to be able to change your mind about whether you want to participate in the settlement or if you wish to exclude yourself. So it's very important that you really consider your options. And if you need to talk to class counsel or any other attorney of your choice, you're free to do that. But we want to emphasize that this is an election that you have to make, and it's a permanent election. You're not going to be able to change your mind once you submit your paperwork. The registration form, Leslie is going to go over the details of the registration form. Don't be scared off by it. There is some detail to it, but we are here to help you, walk you through it, make sure you fully understand what it means to register and how you can do it